Every fucking time that I see one of these silly ass motherfuckers talk about Marcus Garvey, it's always something stupid. Had a couple kids who I ain't got a problem with. I don't have a problem with them, but even a couple kids out here, I'm talking about how Martin Luther King was a fucking cuck. And they'd be like, what do you mean Martin Luther King's a cuck? Are you one of those Garvey people? And see, they have no idea what he stood for. See, the white supremacist oligarch, via his dim-witted pedestrian proxies and his coons, aka the black conservatives, fucking morons. Anyway, they put out a lot of disinformation about Marcus Garvey and what he stood for. See, there was no Back to Africa movement ever. At least not from him. Actually, there was a Back to Africa. Martin Delaney had a Back to Africa movement. But the overall reality of Marcus Garvey was this. He had created a black economic base. And it integrated that economic base into the mainstream African American economic base. And from there, he was trying to tie that into international black markets. That was the whole purpose of the Black Star Line. It wasn't just put niggas on a ship to go back to Africa. That's the stupidest shit ever. What happened is he set up the ships, he bought the ships, he repaired the ships because they were in disarray, they were garbage. He repaired them. Then he sailed down to the West Indies with to get a bunch of product from Jamaica or wherever, I don't remember. They went down there, packed the ship up, and brought them back in record time. The white supremacist oligarchs stopped the ship in the New York harbor and let the ship rot, talking about they had to inspect it. The FBI, who ain't shit, fuck the United States government, admitted that they sabotaged the government the entire time. They got black cops, fuck the cops, to sabotage the ships. They admitted that they had done this. They had sent black cops, fuck the cops, to join his movement. These cops were largely black conservatives, because we all know black conservatives are complete bitches, and that serve nothing other than to suck the white race's dick. If you're a black conservative, you're a fucking roach, and you deserve nothing more than death. Well, the thing is, I mean, this has been documented, so it's not like I'm making this shit up. It's been well documented. They even gave a little half-ass pardon to Marcus Garvey for the horseshit reason that they got him deported, which was to stop him from creating, galvanizing, and utilizing the strength of the economic base. Another thing he was doing, and this is where the disinformation, this was the purpose of the disinformation, was Marcus Garvey was in contact with Empress Ziyatu of Abyssinia before the British put that little cuck-ass coon in the office. Haile Selassie or Rastafari. Rastafari was the biggest bitch ever. If it wasn't for the Mexican president and Adolf Hitler saving his ass, yeah, Adolf Hitler saved that nigga from Mussolini. Adolf Hitler and Mussolini were not allies, just like Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden weren't allies. It's all a fucking lie. The white supremacist oligarchs are liars. I can't stress this to you. They're fucking liars. Everything you can think of, they're tied in. These assholes are tied into everything. That's why I wrote it on. You have to go after the root. If you get rid of them, you get rid of the root. Then you can pick the rest off. They're the problem. Anyway, Adolf Hitler at Mexico saved Haile Selassie's cold ass who was hiding in fucking England, because that's who propped his ass up. Just like England propped up Israel and created Israel. They propped up Selassie. Selassie set the country back decades. Emperor Ziyadu was building up and modernizing the country. Haile Selassie did the exact opposite of that. That's why they killed him and buried his ass under a toilet, because he was a bitch. Now, the reason why Marcus Garvey was in contact with her was because he wanted to use the economic base and the money to get guns, because violence works, to stop colonialism by fielding armies that would go from Abyssinia and start taking the colonies out one by one. The British knew that he was doing this, and they wanted him out of the mix. The Americans got wind of this and wanted him out of the mix. The black conservatives in the United States and the NAACP coons wanted him out of the mix because of this, and because of him building up the economic base. So he galvanized the black American economic base, and then started using that buying power and throwing your weight around militarily due to your economic might. And then the white supremacists couldn't beat you around anymore. They couldn't slap you around anymore. And if they could do that, then they wouldn't need these middlemen, aka the fake-ass black leaders, like that clown-ass nigga Robert Moton, or that bitch-ass clown W.E.B. Du Bois, or the Jewish-run NAACP, or the Jewish-run Urban League, who were created for the sole purpose of spying on blacks and reporting it back to their masters, the white supremacist oligarchs. So, yeah, he would have destabilized all of that, made these fake-ass niggas irrelevant, just like we need to make niggas like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson irrelevant because they're just pawns of the white race. The white race fake hates them. They fake hate them. They're real groups. Just like Louis Walcott. Louis Walcott, a.k.a. the so-called Farrakhan minister. He's a fucking pawn of the white race. He's always been a pawn of the white race. He is a Scientologist. He is a coon. He hates black people. I have videos of this. I'm proving this. That video is proving this. He's a fucking coon and a piece of shit, and he killed Malcolm X. Fuck him. Fuck the Nation of Islam. Fuck the white race. Fuck these people. They're shit. And I can't stress this to you. Now, Marcus Garvey wanted to fight colonialism, build an economic base. He had a fucking media organization. Probably the largest black-owned media organization to ever exist. I think the only one as large to ever exist was BET before it got sold to the white race. The white race owned BET, so if you ever hear some cracker say, "Oh, you guys have BET, why don't we have WET?" and just tell them, hey, why don't you tell the white supremacists that own Time Warner to change it? Because they're white, they own it. Have those whiteies change it. Just tell them that. But anyway, back to the point. It's all about fighting colonialism. That's what it was about. It was about nothing more than that. Building us up economically, fighting colonialism to free Africa. You can't go back to Africa if it's run by France, where niggas were enslaving blacks, beating, murdering, and raping blacks in Africa. Yeah, a lot of Africans won't admit this. They had slaves in colonial Africa, nigga. Let's just be honest. And then they try to slander the name of guys like Prince Tuvalu, say he wasn't really a prince, he's a liar, blah, blah, blah. Prince Tuvalu had blacks all over West Africa, all over Francophone West Africa, fight these bitch-ass French fruits. He deserved Chuck Hebdo. And they had him fight him. He deserved that fucking bombing, too, from those terrorists, even though it was the CIA. But, I mean, yeah, dude. Prince Tuvalu had these guys. Marcus Garvey was a friend of Prince Tuvalu. He had influenced Prince Tuvalu. And due to him being a staunch Garveyite, he was from the Dahomey Empire, the princes of the Dahomey Empire. Due to him being so influential, they barred him from ever going back to Dahomey because he was able to get strikes going in Francophone West Africa to make them stop sending goods out that would feed the empire, because, let's be honest, like I said before, France just leeches off of the former colonies. He got them to go on strike. He got them to fight the slave owners in places like Ivory Coast, where they were forced to work the chocolate fields, where they were forced to work the mines in Mali. He got those motherfuckers on code and locked in. And that's why they said, nigga, you can't ever go back to Africa. That was because of Marcus Garvey's influence. They don't talk about that shit. They say he was some wacky nigga with a hat on that had all the niggas go back to Africa. No, it was about staying in America and working with free blacks in the West Indies, freeing the West Indies from the British, freeing the blacks in Africa from the white supremacist oligarch colonialists, and then economic trade amongst each and every one of them, the way the Asians trade with each other, and cutting out the white race. That's what it's about. Fuck these people, dude. Fuck a Martin Luther King. He's a bitch. These are bitches. What they're talking about is crap. These people are scum, dude. Their agenda is garbage. Niggas really think that they accomplished something because of Barack Obama, whose family was tied in with the Geithners. His mom was a fucking FBI agent that used to fuck black dudes to get intel on what they were doing in the 50s because they wouldn't hire blacks back then. Fuck her, dude. Fuck these dudes, man. His father was, his grandfather was a fucking racist. He even said so. What are you... He was a fucking Manchurian candidate who was carrying out the same fucking agenda as that asshole Bush. Don't you see the pattern, dude? Don't you see the pattern? Just like this fucking idiot Donald Trump, who probably used to go down to 8th Ave and pay $30 to suck some Puerto Rican dude's dick at the bus station like those other Wall Street fucktards. Huh? Come on. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You think this is a game? You think I'm lying, dude? Look this shit up. That's the real legacy of Marcus Garvey. Black economic growth. Black-owned media to control the black narrative. A global black network of cultural exchange, economic exchange, military exchange. Because they don't talk about the African Legion. They don't talk about the Negroes with guns. The African Legion was another group formed by Marcus Garvey. They used to go around and beat the shit and shoot those fucking idiots in the Ku Klux Klan. They used to shoot those motherfucking white pieces of shit in their goddamn faces. Let me tell you, Jack and Dandy. See, they make it seem like niggas were scared and running, and some were, but we don't care about black conservatives and their little Bible verses. Fuck those fags. They're bitches. Let's see. They throw this out of the history books, and they skew it with nonsense. It's the same thing that happened with Martin Delaney. Actually, I'm going to do Martin Delaney next. I still need to do that IQ video. We're going to do Martin Delaney next because his post-slavery speech, his post-slavery advice to the slaves is something of legend, and it has to be addressed. People don't talk about Martin Delaney at all. They talk about the government agent, coon, and half-breed who carries up the sinister mulatto agenda, that motherfucker Frederick Douglass. Oh yeah, let me get into that. But yeah, Marcus Garvey was a real fucking hero. He wasn't a fucking agent propped up by the British like that one nigga said, who's clearly a fucking agent. Blacks aren't Israelites. Fuck the Israelites. They ain't shit but coons for the white race. Nigga, all these fucking groups are coons. The Asura Set Society, the Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, the Nuwabians, all those groups are fucking coons. That's why they're dressing up and saying stupid shit. They're not a threat to whites, they're coons. These niggas are coon distractions. They're coon distractions. That's why none of these groups talk about getting guns to fight white people. That's why none of these groups talk about real black economic development. None of these people talk about taking over industries. None of these folks talk about going into fast developing African nations and making connections or creating distribution deals with them or the Chinese. They don't talk about that. They start repeating white supremacist bullshit. Fuck these dudes, man. I mean, come on. Yeah, they skew everything. They skew Marcus Garvey's agenda. They hide Martin Delaney. Real black leaders, they don't talk about Fred Hampton either. A lot of people don't talk about Fred Hampton. It's like vague. They'll just talk about how he was killed by some Uncle Tom that set him up, but outside of that, they just don't talk about it. Like, Fred Hampton, Black Panthers had guns. The NRA stopped them with the guns. That's it. You notice that? Like, people really don't talk about the Black Panthers and what they were doing. Nobody talks about the food program and how the food program and the educating the children, the preschool program, is what got him killed. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about how the Black Panthers, a lot of them were college kids, set up free clinics all over the nation. Some of them are still in service to this day. They don't talk about that shit. They don't talk about how blacks pulled together money to buy food and then use stamps to give black people who didn't have any money the ability to buy food or to buy heat. They don't talk about that shit because they don't want you to figure out how to create a system for yourselves to survive. Like I said before, they want motherfuckers who they can feed. That's what they want. They want niggas they can feed. They don't want to. They don't want you to feed yourselves. Because if you can feed yourself, you can come to the table with demands. No, they want niggas they can feed, they can control. That's what these motherfuckers like. They want to feed their niggas. They want to own their niggas. That's what these white motherfuckers want. And that's why they don't like the shit I'm talking about. And that's why any white person that's ever watched the entire series of the Afrocentrism goes, yeah, man, this guy gets it to you fucking nigger. You're a black nigger. I hate you. Because they know. They know what I'm about, and they know that this shit is real. So look up Marcus Garvey, what he really stood for. And fuck all these other codes. They're all garbage. Human fucking garbage. That's a fact. Bitch.